here with my boat today, and I have Tyson from Accutroll. And what are we doing today, man?
We are upgrading your boat with the Accutroll system that's going to give you basically cruise control for your kicker motor.
So we met at the boat show, and I was very impressed with what you were doing because I've never seen anything that well built, honestly.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, I mean, so it has a remote, right?
Has a remote. Yeah, so the system is, there's been throttle control systems that you retrofit on your kicker motor. Those have existed. So I'm not claiming to have invented that, but I think what we've done is reinvented it or given it a breath of modern approach. And so the controller in this case is it's a Wi-Fi based radio module, so that it lives under the cowling. There's no other wires that you have to run out of the cowling.
That part's impressive.
It makes the installation super easy. And then what happens is you use a smart device like a phone or a tablet, and that becomes your user interface. So you scan that QR code that's on each product, and it'll do a discovery, connect to it, and enroll it and save it as a saved device. And then from your app, you can launch a user interface, and it gives you that digital interface to control your motor speed.
Nice. But it also has a remote control.
It has okay, so then there is a remote control that is Bluetooth to the phone or the tablet. And then the app basically translates button presses from that Bluetooth remote into calls, API calls to the controller, which makes it change.
So what you're saying is, to keep it simple, as you know, we're fishermen.
Yeah.
All right. I can actually be netting a fish and speed the boat up from right here without having to run over and grab the knob.
That's right.
Okay.
You have there's actually 3 programmable buttons that are user buttons, and each of those buttons has a single click and a double click. So you have 6 slots to assign preset throttle positions, cruising speeds, or actions, or we call them macros, where you can basically author a series of different actions, like increase my speed, wait 3 seconds, decrease my speed, wait 3 seconds, and you can basically author like a...
Oh, that would have no effect on catching fish. Slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. Oh, yeah.
Or one-off, like I like to program a stall, where I just, wherever my throttle's at, just basically run it to 20% of that for 10 seconds.
Wow.
And then resume. And so, you're going along, maybe you see something on the screen, hit that, it'll stall the motor and just bring it right back to where it was, and it's just kind of a one shot.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get to an install.
All right, let's do it. All right, guys. So today we're going to be upgrading John's throttle control system. So one of the videos and content we wanted to produce and demonstrate to you guys is how easy and low friction an upgrade is to an Accutroll system. If you've already installed an iTroll or a Trollmaster, you've already done the tricky work of installing a servo motor and a bracket and some linkage here and tying it to your throttle control system. So the Accutroll system will work with any standard 3-pin servo motor. So in this case, John has already done the tricky part of installing a bracket assembly and a servo motor. And what that means for the installation of the Accutroll is that you basically take this radio module. We're just going to have to find power here, local, underneath the cowling, unplug the servo motor from the existing system, plug it into this throttle control module, and the installation is essentially that. And then we'll show you how we take the app, power this up, scan the QR code, discover it, and enroll it, and we'll show you how to calibrate the sweep range on the servo motor. All right, guys, the first step is that we're going to install the inline blade fuse. So this comes loose, and it comes loose on purpose so that we don't know. So John's case, we have a Mercury 15 horsepower. All the power leads are really close, so we can install that blade fuse on a short length of from the ring terminal. It comes loose so that you can position it on the cable, so that you have enough service length from that ring terminal to work with it adequately and tie it into the power. So let's do that real quick.
That's kind of a nice feature because not everybody wants to have a ton of wire hanging in.
Okay, so we're just going to cut it right about there. And this fuse holder is what they call an IDC. So you basically just you stick the wires in here and can just crimp them into place. One there. Getting close.
What amp fuse we're using there?
This is a 2 amp fuse, which is plenty. All right, guys. So the first step, well, I guess the second step after putting the blade fuse in is to find the 2 power locations for the throttle control module. So in this case, we found a chassis ground here, and then we had the power lead coming in the battery from here, and noticed that we had some daisy chain jumpers going to these guys, and so we just picked this one. It was convenient to get to, pull that boot off. So make sure that you turn off all power before you take these ring terminals and apply them to the power locations. And then once you got it in place, turn the power back on, and what you should see on the throttle control module is that red LED that tells you it has power. That blinking green LED is a status indicator. But now everything's powered up, and what we're going to do next is we're going to disconnect the old servo from the original system and plug it into this guy. All right, guys, so the next step, we're going to disconnect the servo from the original Troll Master cable here. And then we're also going to take, so each of the controller modules comes with this little tube of super grease, dielectric grease. We're going to take some of this and we're going to put a thumbful into each of these contacts openings to just seal off those contacts. So we come in here. Well, good point. So you can see we have some oopsie days. So that's why the grease comes important.
There's a point, guys. Check that.
Right. So we'll just take some of that, squeeze it into there. That should be good. All right, let's get this cable. So there is a certain direction that this cable needs to go. So ground is always going to be on the leftmost pin towards the center. With these 3-pin cables, if you get it plugged in wrong, you're not going to damage anything. It's just the servo's not going to move. So if you're trying to set it up and the servo's not moving, you maybe have this thing plugged in. But the black wire is most obviously ground, so we're going to position it that direction, just like that. So the next step is we're going to launch the Accutrol app. You can see I have a bunch of devices here saved, but we're going to add a new device. And then it says locate the barcode on your device, ensure it's powered on, and then press scan. That opens up the camera app. So it's powered up. There's the QR code. Scan it. That's easy.
That was quick.
So now the phone is connecting to the device. It's fetching some device details, doing some discovery. So it found the throttle control module. We just say save all devices. And now this is the controller we just added. And by tapping on that tile, it tells the phone to connect to it and open up this interface. So since this is the first time we've installed this, you get greeted with this sort of servo calibration screen. So we're going to step through it. The first step is you need to select which servo you're using. We have Accutroll servo. We sell a servo, a digital coreless servo, but there are some other popular models there. In this case, John doesn't match any of these, and so we're going to pick safe defaults. And so this will work for probably every servo. Hit next. All right. So the next thing we got to do is we got to save what the idle position is. So we're going to kind of have to take a look over here at the linkage and figure out where we want idle to be. So if we look here first, I'm going to come in here. So you got a slider here which is coarse adjustment, and then using this jog dial, you have a finer adjustment. So I'm going to basically just try to pull out all the slack.
That's slack right there.
Right there. But I'm going to want to have to throttle it that way. So you see how I don't have much room after it's out of slack? If I go here and save it, I'm going to have to servo all the way to here to get it to go open. And that's not giving us enough room. So what I'm going to have to do is come back over to the servo and adjust the servo arm, the servo horn, to give us more stroke, more sweep. All right, we'll cut out, and then I'll make some adjustments there and show you guys what we did. All right, guys, we're going to make a small adjustment to the servo horn. When I showed you earlier on the screen of my phone, we didn't have a lot of range on that slider to play with the full stroke of that servo. So what we did here, if you look at the phone real quick, is I jogged this guy over this direction so that we have all that direction to play with. So now I'm going to just take the servo horn off, mechanically move it and reattach it. So we stuck a yellow towel up under this. You don't want to drop screws down in there. So go ahead and remove this guy. All right, now I'm just going to pop this off. And just sort of mechanically take up some of that slack, get it closer. Like that. All right, now if you come back to our app here, let's go around so I can look at this side.
One thing about this Mercury is it's got a very short throttle range.
All right, so now I'm going to play with this fine just to get it. I don't want the throttle body open. I just want to be close. Still close. So I think that's a good spot. So hit save. Now we need to figure out what we want to be full stroke. So I'll start throttling this. I think that's about as far as we can go.
Yep.
So I'm going to hit save full. Servo calibration is done. Hit next. Finish. Now 0 to 100% is going to map between those 2 points. And that's full.
Yep, that's about what it.
Slide to idle. Resume. So that's the full stroke.
So it found it. Now it's going through the.
Yep, it connected to it, migrating the device, change its settings, reconnect, and then it's going to validate that everything's on the same network and everything's working. Oh wow, look at this. All right, you have a Lowrance, so you have lots of devices here, which is why it's a good example here. All right, it says NMEA 2000 speed sources. Select which speed sources are used as feedback for your throttle control module. You can pick one of each group, one of an STW, speed through water, and one from a speed over ground. So the Lowrance paddle wheel sensor was found, so that's automatically selected for STW. And then we're gonna have to choose a feedback source here for speed over ground.
Any of the 12s, doesn't really matter. They all will work. They're all network together.
Okay, accept. All right, so from here, if I go and launch the throttle control module one more time, we should see the speed panel show up. And so that 0.0 mile per hour, that's coming from that Lowrance head unit. And now we have the cruise control button enabled. And so now the system is fully set up with a throttle control module and the gateway. And now you are able to hit cruise as long as you're going a positive speed, or if you have a preset like this one, it's like 2.5 miles an hour. You can see I hit it, and it's throttling the motor right now. You can see that percentage is increasing, trying to get her speed up. Since we're not moving, it just keeps trying. And so if we could simulate it going too fast, you'd see it start backing off. But that's the cruise control in action here. So nice. I can disable it. You know, you can always hit the idle. All right, so we got the whole system networked and everything working. I just wanted to touch on something. So when we ship the system, each component comes with a decal that matches the QR code that's actually embedded on each of the devices. And so we ship these spare decals so that you can stick these in your glove box, or adhere them to the inside of your glove box. It can be inconvenient to get to the QR code of the device after it's installed. And so if you ever you get a new phone, you got to rediscover these devices and add them to a new phone, or for some reason you need to delete them off your phone and re-add them, you can scan these QR codes. These are the same information, so that you don't actually physically need to get to the two devices after they've been tucked away.
I appreciate that. I didn't know that's going to happen.
And I mean, we ran this all summer in the Great Lakes, and we had guys like, oh, it's a real bitch. Can I say that on YouTube? Yeah. To get to the thing after the fact, and I was like, good idea. I mean, so we did a lot of work to work with guys in the field to sort of get through these hiccups, so that you guys aren't our guinea pigs. So, all right, guys, we just wanted to show you a quick shot where we ended up locating the throttle control module under the cowling here. We got all our wires zip tied and groomed and tucked away, and it comes with an alpha lock. It's like a heavy duty Velcro, plastic Velcro, and so we sandwich that between the control module and this part right here. And what it does is it kind of sets that part up. Do realize that this has a Wi-Fi antenna, so not burying this thing deep inside the motor is something you'd like to try to avoid. And this is a nice position for it. Keeps it up elevated so that the signal on the antenna can still radiate well. And I'll go ahead and put the cowling back on here. We're going to show you guys, so this is the Bluetooth remote. We're going to show you how to discover and pair it to the app. First thing, go to add remote, and read the message. It says to turn the remote control on by pressing any button. So I'm going to do that. And it's kind of hard to see, but you see that blue blinking light? Hit scan. There it is, RC1. Tap it. That easy. Back. And so there's our remote now. And I'm going to go through one quick setup here to show you guys how you can program 1, 2, and 3 for user settings. So if you get the double or the triple dot, go to configure. I'm gonna assign button 2, single press. I'm gonna create a stall macro. So what I want to do is set throttle absolute. We'll set it to 0%. We'll put a small delay, so I'll change that trigger to wait for, and I'll set it to, I don't know, what do you think, John? 8 seconds?
About 8 would do it, yeah. That's enough for get a bike going.
And then the last action, we're going to reset throttle to initial state. So when I press button 2, it's going to set the throttle to 0, wait for 8 seconds, and then reset it to whatever it was at before I press the button. So I'll hop out of here, go into the throttle control module. So the plus and minus buttons out of the box come pre-programmed. Double clicks are 5%, single clicks are 1. So say you're running along at 20%, and here's an example of that stall. Hit 2, went to 0. There's that blue spinning macro running that tells you something's running in the background. 8 seconds later, it should pop right back to 20%. There you go.
That is cool. That will be very nice for, think about your downrigger ball dropping and just all of a sudden 8 seconds later re-engaging again. A good way to trigger a bite.
Yep. Another thing I want to show you guys is that the remote comes with this elastic band and retention ring. You can actually pop, this is great for putting on your life vest or on your belt loop. You can actually pop this remote out. It's fully waterproof, and this thing will index into that retainer every 90 degrees. And so if you didn't want to wear it, you can just mount it permanently like that.
That's a nice feature. I mean, that works for doing a quick setup and controlling stuff, but I don't know. I think I'd run around my neck just because I could see some advantage when I'm going to net a fish.
Yeah, or I mean,
Yeah.
if you mount a phone, you can always interact with your phone stationary. This is
Right.
really meant to be on your body, on your person.
Yeah, I think I'll put that spare phone. By the way, Jerry just found an Android phone in his house.
That's a great point, John. I wanted to tell people, you know, I get some people that say, I don't want to use my day-to-day phone. I can completely understand. What a great way to breathe life into old electronics. Most of you guys have an old phone sitting in your drawer somewhere from when you upgraded. Make that the boat phone. That way you can mount it somewhere, permanently mount it, wire it in so it's always powered. You know, or if you have to, you know, you can buy a refurbished phone off of Amazon for like $100. Get an old Google Pixel phone. They work great. You know, we chose to use a smart device like a phone or a tablet because I can't build a better head unit for less money than what these guys build these, you know, fancy phones for. And everybody's got one. It's got a beautiful screen, touch screen, radios, camera. Hell, your phone will call 911 in a pinch, even if it's not activated. Which makes me lead to another point is that I got people asking like, what if I don't have cell service or Wi-Fi? So even though our system uses Wi-Fi radios to communicate, that does not mean you have to have internet access. So you don't need cellular service or Wi-Fi. We don't need the internet. We just use Wi-Fi radios as our link. So wanted to point that out too.
Well, I'll tell you, that's going to be a great system because
I just
here
took it off.
I can put my the phone right here in my Scotty holder, and believe it or not, boys, on the back of the Lowrance unit, there's a plug-in for it to keep it charged.
All right, we're just going to show you quick. Motor's running. You'll be able to hear it rev up. Go to idle. Or you can use this guy.
Nice. And you're just doing it on the remote right now.
Yep.
Let's get it up a little bit. Show me that stall feature.
All right.
So we're at
I'll go a little more.
a little more. Yeah, that's good. And we're going to stall.
Go to idle. 8 seconds later, go right back where it was.
Downrigger ball is dropping, and now we got a fish on.
I'm gonna go to idle.
Hey man, I can't thank you enough. This is going to be great. I mean, you know, the fact that I got precision control to this anywhere in the boat now.
That's right.
I mean, wow. I mean, what a deal that is. And then to be able to set it to go, you know, and I'm sitting here thinking we got it set to go to idle, come back up again, but we could also go faster.
That's right.
If some of you guys get those guys in the boat that don't know how to handle a rod, you can hit it,
Do a surge.
go to surge and pick it up for a few seconds too, you know. So there's a lot of settings on that, you know, being able to use each key for 2 different settings. I like that.
And hopefully you're just setting your trolling speed and not having to use it too much. I mean, it's one of those things. It's the convenience when you experience not having to keep modifying your throttle
Right.
to keep you going. It's one of those like aha moments, like autopilot, where like you almost have to experience it first, and then so give you more time looking at the rod tips, and then less time up and down. But
yeah, I like that feature. Well, you know what? This is going to be I think this is going to be a good seller. I think everybody's going to want this on their boat, particularly wireless. You know, that's going to be the big thing, and then being able to track your speed off of that and everything.
Yeah.
That's going to be a neat feature. So how does everybody get a hold of you?
Go to Accutroll.com. That's where you should go if you want to
Accutroll.
reach out. There's a contact form and an email there. If you want to reach out to us or have to answer any questions or provide support, but Accutroll.com, that's where you're going to go to get this.
Well, I can't wait to, you know, I will do a video when we get out on the water.
Well,
and,
I hope I'm invited to that too.
Oh,
John.
you'll be invited to go fishing. We'll definitely. Then we'll do the extra programming.
Yeah.
So,
We'll get it all dialed in, and I'm hoping this, you know, leads to like I get to go take more rides on other people's boats.
why not? Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right,
I
John.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks again.